All right, we will say, with the continuance of this transmission, how's that for timing? The Thunderbirds are speaking and joining in the energy of this meditative experience. So we and they ask that you now allow yourselves to relax into the flow of the energy of the vortex of Sedona and the Thunderbirds who are joining us this day. All the thunder beings, all of the spirits, all those who inhabit this beautiful portal into unnamed, untold, and infinite dimensions. Allow yourselves to begin to relax, breathing easily and deeply. And as your music rises and your lights begin to shift, allow yourselves to gaze upon the center of the holotope before you, knowing that this is a mirror and a reflection of the multidimensional aspect of your true being. Take a moment to just let go. Let go. Let go and join in the flow. Let yourselves drift upon the currents of creation as you absorb the light and energy of the holotope before you, the reflective mirror of all that is. And you allow all the aspects that it represents and all the symbols to begin to make connections to your consciousness. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and hold it, and hold it, and hold it. And blow it out, adding to the wind your unique vibration, merging, blending, balancing with one another and with all life upon the earth and all life within the cosmos. Gaze upon the different facets of shifting energy and light and sound, and let it sink in to your neurological net as it rewires the pathways of your brain, your body, as it invigorates and revitalizes, rejuvenates and re-energizes the cellular structure of your being, both in matter and energy and in spirit. As above, so below. And as you continue to breathe, and as your heart continues to beat, allow yourselves with every breath, and allow yourselves with every beat of your heart to go deeper and deeper into this journey, into the deeper mysteries of life, of consciousness, of existence, so that they may reveal themselves to you in perfect synchronicity. Allow yourselves to feel the flow of energy passing through you, surrounding you, immersing you, flowing through every part of your being. And allow yourselves to remember, when you find yourselves in any circumstance or situation, and you are uncertain of what to do, of how to be, or who you are, allow yourself to be reminded that the limitations you have chosen are there to be used in positive and beneficial ways, and that you always come back to center, and with every breath realign and reorient yourself back to center every moment back to zero, to redefine yourselves how you prefer, and to recognize that the guidelines and the parameters and the boundaries and the borders that you have chosen are for you what allows you to experience that precise conduit of information and energy to gain the most intense, the most alive experience you possibly can. To feel life coursing through your veins, so that with every beat of your heart, with every breath, and with every thought, you are rebalanced and realigned and fall perfectly within the guidelines and parameters that serve you best. And as you keep breathing and floating through the sea of energy, through the threads and lines of light that connect you to past, present, and future as you understand them, to the eternal now of all things, you know that you contain all the answers to all the questions that could ever arise within you. For they are always there, always here, always now, always accessible. You are never disconnected, nor can you ever be. You are never out of control, nor can you ever be. Whatever you experience is under your control. Whatever you experience is because of your connection to Source, to all that is, to existence itself. Infinite reflections shine in your eyes. Infinite understandings beat within your heart. Infinite knowledge forms within your mind, and infinite awareness is what your spirit becomes. Allow yourselves to drift and dream on the currents of creation, and allow them to crystallize within you the certainty of your being. For you are here, and you are now, and you are existence itself, the very fabric of creation, the very essence of life, expressing itself in all the ways that it possibly can. You are necessary. You are worthy. You are deserving of joy, love, life, and light just by the very fact of your existence. For there can be no mistake in your existence, and without you, creation would not be complete. Shine forth in your birthright. Shine forth in your lives so that you may be a living example, a shining example of what others can also choose to become. Drift and dream, drift and dream. In the cocoon of the infinite, you are wrapped in loving arms, in a warm embrace of support and unconditional love. It is your essence, it is your nature. Create and craft your lives, for you are the artists and the writers of your stories. Be the story you wish others to read. Be the art you wish others to see. Be the light that guides the way for those who feel lost in the dark. Just be It's all you have to do. It's all you have to do. It's all you have to do. And grace showers down upon you. Deep appreciation and gratitude. And life renewed in everlasting cycles. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And be refreshed and renewed and grow from the seeds you discover within yourselves today into the beautiful blossoms and the beautiful garden and the beautiful flowers that you are. Drift along the currents now that flow through you of energy as it is given to you. The gifts of life that shower down from creation upon you. Never ending. Never ending. Never ending. Are surrounded by spirit. You are spirit. Come alive within yourselves. Awaken within yourselves. Shine forth from yourselves. Be the flame in the darkness and the crystalline light. Be the eyes of all that is. Sparkling with new possibility, infinite probability. Be yourself. There is no one else to be. It is for you the gift that has been given to be you. To be you. To be you. Allow yourselves now to simply bask in the energy, to float freely and dream, to drift and float along the currents of creation and crystallize all that you have experienced for yourselves within your hearts, your minds, your higher minds, your spirit, your soul. You are cradled within creation. Be the child born again, born anew, that sees life through new eyes. And marvels at the mysteries. Drift and dream. Drift and dream. And awaken within yourself. Our unconditional love to you all, our deep appreciation for you all, and our deepest gratitude with you all. Sweet dreams, and welcome home.
Oh, let's say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. First of all, once again, we thank each and every one of you for your participation in the co-creation of this interaction and allowing this transmission to occur. This day of your time, this transmission is part 2, as you call it, of a 3-part transmission. Last night of your time, in your time, moments ago to us, we spoke about the idea of 15 minutes and counting, wherein we described the idea of the plasticity of the neurological net of the brain, and how every thought, every idea, every feeling, every belief, every definition changes, literally changes the pathways, the neurological pathways of the brain, and how, in what we are about to transmit, the information therein can allow you more efficacy in taking those changes and forming those changes along certain vibrational lines to instill certain pathways that will become more superconductive and hyperconductive, to allow you to become a more refined antenna, to allow the brain to become a more refined receiver of the downloads from the higher mind, so that the physical mind, in having that brain rewired into a more receptive, more clearly receptive antenna, then the physical mind can take what it perceives as more representative of the vibration of the download from the higher mind, and you can be more in accord, more in alignment, more in agreement with the idea of the guidance of the higher mind. In understanding that it takes about 15 of your minutes from the beginning of the rewiring for that rewiring in the brain to go from a plastic state to once again a crystallized state and hardwire itself with the new information. This transmission has been designed, and later on the Holotope experience specifically has been designed to allow, during that plastic state, when it is going from rewiring to hardwiring, to be imbued with the appropriate frequency to ensure as best as possible that when it is hardwired, it retains the appropriate vibration that will allow your brain to become a clearer receiver and an antenna for the download vibration from the higher mind. But before we get to that point, in our 3rd part of the transmission, we would now like to examine and explore with a kind of an X-ray approach the idea of what beliefs are, what it is you are specifically looking to change. And this is why we have entitled the idea Brick Walls and Beliefs, because we understand that very often when you have a belief and you wish to change it, you say you prefer to change it. Sometimes we know that many of you experience a great degree of difficulty in allowing that belief to change. So what we are going to examine today is the actual nature of, the actual structure of beliefs, so that perhaps by gaining some insight into the actual structure of the belief, you will understand how it is organized to perpetuate itself, and you will perhaps also gain greater understanding in understanding that how that organization works, and how you can, in a sense, break it down, how you can deal with the different components of the belief, how you can recognize the different tricks, in a sense, that negative beliefs have in their toolkit to perpetuate themselves and make it seem as if it is difficult or maybe even impossible to change that negative belief. The idea, first and foremost, as we have discussed before, of course, is that when you attach certain kinds of beliefs to your motivational mechanism, you are then automatically propelled, and immediately propelled in the direction of reinforcing that belief. And the idea of the motivational mechanism is, again, quite simplistic. You are always motivated by the same mechanism to do whatever it is you choose to do. Always, without exception. You only have, really, two basic motivations that are really simply different sides of one motivational mechanism. Your motivational mechanism is simply that you will always, immediately move in the direction of what it is you perceive to be or define to be more pleasurable. You will always, and immediately move away from what you define to be or perceive to be more painful. The key herein is the idea of what it is you define, what it is you believe, what it is you perceive to be pleasure and pain. Many of you say that you, in a sense, intellectually recognize what it is you prefer, and yet you do not necessarily understand why it is you do not choose it, why it is you do not always act on it. This comes down to the motivational mechanism and recognizing that if you had a positive belief system attached to that so-called preference, you would immediately choose it. And if you are not choosing it, if you are not behaving in that direction, if you are not acting on it, what that immediately tells you without exception is there must be a negative belief attached to your actual preference that is making you see it in a light that makes it not something you actually prefer to choose. So the important thing is to find out what belief you have attached to the idea of your so-called dream, your so-called preference, that makes it seem to be anything but your preference. And once you find out what belief that is that you have attached to that preference, you will know immediately why you are not choosing it. Many individuals will actually remain in a painful state, even over the idea of what they say they prefer to choose, because of the belief systems they have attached to the thing that they say is representative of their passion, which then makes their passion actually seem more painful of a choice than the pain they are already choosing. Many times it is as simple as fear of the unknown, not wanting to move forward in a direction that is unfamiliar to you and staying with the pain just because the idea of the pain being familiar makes it seem as if that familiarity, that pain and that familiarity is actually preferable to the idea of the fear of the unknown, and therefore you remain in the pain, as painful as it is, just because it's something that you know, as opposed to something that you don't, if you have a belief that says that unknown is to be feared. It is as simple as that very often. But it requires of you the ability, the willingness to examine and explore why you have those beliefs and why you have attached them to that motivational mechanism and why you have attached them to your preference in that manner. One of the things we will also be discussing in this segment is the whole concept of, in a sense, what you call manifestation. Now, let us provide you a slightly different idea and understanding of the concept of manifestation. Because many of you, when you think about the idea of attempting to manifest something, bring it into your reality, make it appear, solidify it, crystallize it, make it experiential, are coming from a point of view, also definitionally and belief system related, that it is something that does not exist in your reality, that you are attracting into or bringing into your reality, that somehow it is ephemeral and non-physical, and you have to somehow make it solid, make it appear, make it real. That is not the case. What it is that is representative of your preference and what you call your desires to manifest already exists in your reality. It is already manifest. The idea of manifestation is not bringing something that doesn't exist into existence or attracting something over there and bringing it over here. The idea is that what you desire to manifest is already here, already existent, already real. Manifestation is the process of giving yourself the ability to realize, to perceive that it is already here. You do not have to do any magical thing to make it come into existence. It is already existent. It's already within your sphere of reality. It is just that your belief system makes it invisible to you. So manifestation is not the process of actually conjuring something out of nothing. It is the process of making the invisible visible. And that simply requires an alteration of perception. That's all it takes. So we are going to be talking about that idea as well. And let us begin right there. The idea of one of the mechanisms of manifestation that allows the invisible to become visible is something that uses the power of paradox very strongly. We often talk about the idea of paradox as the recognition that you are in a very powerful place, right in the center of your power. Because what to you may seem paradoxical, what to you may seem contradictory, two opposing ideas that cannot necessarily seem to coexist, but do coexist, tells you right then and there that there must be a middle ground from which they both come. And that middle ground, that balance point, is your place of power from which you have generated the apparently paradoxical and apparently contradictory concepts. But because you can perceive them both, it tells you that just the perception of those things alone tells you that you are actually in the center of those things, that they come from the center of your being, and that you're simply seeing reflections of the polarity, expressions of the polarity of creation. But polarity within you combines and interacts in a very specific way to generate your true perfect place of balance and perfect place of power. So when you see paradox, rejoice, because it is telling you that you're standing right at the center of your creative self and have the ability to thus then manifest and transform and make the invisible visible very quickly. Let us explain a little bit more clearly about the idea of the paradoxical nature of the mechanism of manifestation.